I've commented on your other videos when you talk about gear and shit. And I always love it because people are like, they're making accusations. And I've said, I can guarantee you I'm on more than you are. And I look worse than you do. And it's simply because I'm playing a catch-up game where I'm 5'7", 235 pounds. And I can guarantee you I'm upwards between 25 to 29% body fat. There's no question. Everything has changed because I've always done the whole, we'll get to that. And then all of a sudden you've got to undo all of this. And the quality of life changes when you are ignorant and you get lax on those small, progressive, preventative things. And now you've got to undo it in your 50s, late 40s. It's very difficult. So you've got the formula for quality of life. And that's what more people pay attention to. That's why it's like, I've been following your stuff the last 15 years. It's like, yeah. But I'm not a professional in it. And I let it go to the wayside. And then it's like, then you get the extreme gurus. It's like, man, if you just did these small building blocks, your foundation would have been fantastic. So yeah, it's a big game that people need to not neglect.
Yeah. One thing I'm really, happy with, I've done some things wrong is I always looked at the long term. I always looked at longevity. I quit bodybuilding in 2013 to box. And I think that was the best decision I ever made because the other guy, I would have gone, I'm not going to lie. Like 2013, that's when I did my steroid cycle, right? Like that's when I'm like, I'm getting my pro card no matter what. And then I'm like, I got that NABA card and I'm like, I'm good. Like I'm going to go do something else. And I just think about that 7 years, what I would have done if I'd have and I've seen bodybuilders do it where it's like, I'll just take some more of this. I'll just take some more of this. And now you're seeing a bunch of guys dying and we could all speculate to why they're dying, right? Like we can point to shots and viruses and all these things. But at the end of the day, if you're that big and you've put your heart through a lot of stress and you're not doing things like blood work and proper maintenance and proper nutrition and you're going through the bulking and cutting cycles, you can't convince me that's not straining your organs, that's not straining your heart. And it's something that I'm kind of glad that, I had to come back at 41 and get my pro card. But then again, I'm 44 now and I feel better than I did in my 20s. And I think it's because I took a break from bodybuilding and I went and I did something where I had to move, where I wasn't focused on hypertrophy. I was focusing on movement and movement prep and mobility and flexibility. Whereas bodybuilding, you tend to get caught in that hypertrophy merry-go-round where it's always about, I need another inch here. I need another 10 pounds here. And you'll do whatever it takes because you get a taste of it. You gain that 5 pounds and you notice, what if I did this? I'll gain another 5. And you see it happening. So while steroids aren't in and of themselves addictive through a dopamine pathway, it's addictive through a visual pathway.
I'm going to tell you the three guys, I don't care what you think of them, anybody does. The three guys who have this game down pat are you, Clark Bartram, and Michael Hearn. The three of you guys have done that. When have you, and you've been somebody, and I'm not kissing your ass, I don't give a shit. You've been online for almost 20 years worth of content, and nobody can ever say, oh, look at Lobliner in his off season. You never had that giant Lee Priest off season that we saw, back in the 90s, where it's like, neither has Clark Bartram and neither is O'Hearn. So you guys have the system down right. Movement wise, oh God, I went back to coaching wrestling this last year. You were telling me about that. Everything hurts. It was the greatest thing in the world. Where I was like, you step in on the mat and all of a sudden I'm 18 again, and the smell of the mat and the feel of it under your feet, and all of a sudden these things come back out of nowhere. It's like, oh my God, yeah, my body does this and that, and my body couldn't do what my brain was telling me. But then, so I have not been on the mat since January. I hurt still now because of the lack of movement. I think your boxing helped your body heal. It's like knocking the rust off because you're moving dynamically instead of a one plane range of motion for hypertrophy. It's ridiculous. And again, it's the ego. Like I was never a bodybuilder, never wanted to be, couldn't do it, don't have the discipline, but I love powerlifting. Yeah. Heavy weights. And I'm at the point now where I'm not going to stop. So I think, and if anybody, especially if I could back you up on something, it's the people who follow you need to stay following you because you have it done right, where you can do sports, hypertrophy, strength. What the hell? We see you jacking around with 150-pound dumbbells for 10 to 12 reps on a flat bench. So you've got the strength in there. Your content is the proper structure for the athlete, the strength trainer, the hypertrophy person, all of it. So you've got it down pat, and then you've got 2 decades of worth of proof on it. So it's good shit.
Well, I appreciate that.